Good afternoon, and welcome to a WHO Radio Christmas Carol, our version of Mr. Dickens' classic. Tonight, our cast of characters are Jim Zabel as Ebenezer Scrooge.
Bah! Humbug!
Van Harden as Bob Cratchit.
I'm the luckiest man in the world having such a fine family.
Keith Kirkpatrick as the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Look down, Ebenezer, and think back to your youth.
Jan Mickelson as the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Have you never seen the like of me before?
Billy Cole as the voice of Christmas Future.
Come closer and look into his face.
Dave Campbell as Scrooge's nephew, Fred.
Christmas a humbug? Well, surely you don't mean that, Uncle.
Lee Klein as a gentleman caller.
How much shall I put you down for, Mr. Scrooge?
Bob Quinn as the Ghost of Marley.
Remember, it is your last chance to escape my miserable fate.
Sue Pritchard as Scrooge's fiancée, Belle.
You hold money more important than me, or anything else for that matter.
Robbie Witkowski as Scrooge's brother, Peter.
I've come to bring you home, dear brother Ebenezer.
Connie Murad as Mrs. Cratchit.
Mr. Scrooge, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon.
Jody Chapman as Cratchit's daughter, Martha.
Hello, Father. You look tired.
Kevin Teal, Chuck Shockley, and Al Setka as the first, second, and third men.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe. I thought he'd never die.
Larry Cutler and Mike Newell as the first and second boys.
A Merry Christmas, sir. No need to wish him a Merry Christmas. That's old Scrooge.
Larry James and Bill Walsh as the third and fourth boys.
Yes, did you call us, sir? Today? Why, Christmas Day.
Jack Witzel and Eb Hickman as Joe and the Man.
You're not going to take his things, are you?
Why not? He won't miss him, not a dead man.
And Roxanne Rogers as Tiny Tim.
God bless us, everyone.
And I'm your host, Jess Peterson. And now, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It's the afternoon before Christmas Day in the year of our Lord, 1844. Despite the bitterly cold weather, all London is in a festive mood.
Stop it, I say. Away from here with all that noise. We'll have no singing around here. Do you understand that? No singing, I say.
A Merry Christmas, sir. No need to wish him a Merry Christmas. That's old Scrooge.
Yes, that's old Scrooge, all right. Ebenezer Scrooge. And there's no sign of happiness or festivity on his lined face. He closes the door and returns to his office. He looks around, glowers at his clerk, Bob Cratchit, snorts as he sees Cratchit bent over his desk, hard at work. As he adjusts his spectacles and turns, without warning, the door opens.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Bah! Humbug!
Christmas a humbug? Well, surely you don't mean that, Uncle.
Merry Christmas indeed. What right have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
What right have you to be dismal? You're rich enough.
What's Christmas to you but a time for paying bills without money? A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I had it my way, every idiot who goes about with a Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. You keep Christmas in your own way, let me keep mine in my own way.
Keep it? But you don't keep it.
Then, let me leave it alone then. Much good it's done you.
I've always thought of Christmas as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. And I say God bless it.
Amen.
Let me hear another sound from you, Bob Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation.
Don't be angry, Uncle. I came here to ask you to spend Christmas Day with Annette and me.
No, certainly not.
We want nothing from you, Uncle, other than your company for Christmas Day. Please, won't you change your mind and have dinner with us?
You know my sentiments on Christmas. Good day, Fred.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year to you.
Bah, humbug.
Pardon me, Mr. Scrooge.
What is it?
There's a gentleman here to see you.
What about, Cratchit?
He didn't say, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley, my former partner, has been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago, this very night.
Then I have no doubt his liberality is well represented by his surviving partner.
What do you want?
Well, at this festive season, Mr. Scrooge, we try to make some slight provision for the poor and the destitute. Many thousands are in want of common necessities.
Are there no prisons?
Oh, there are plenty of prisons.
And the workhouses? Are they still in operation?
I wish we could say they were not. How much shall I put you down for, Mr. Scrooge?
Nothing.
You wish to be anonymous, Mr. Scrooge?
I wish to be left alone. Let these deserving people of yours go to the establishments I have mentioned.
Most of them would rather die than do that, Mr. Scrooge.
Then let them do that and help decrease the surplus population. I'm busy. Good afternoon to you.
Very good, Mr. Scrooge. Goodbye, and Merry Christmas to you.
And good riddance to you. Charity. Bah! Humbug.
Mr. Scrooge, sir.
Well, what is it, Cratchit?
I was wondering...
You were wondering if you could go home.
Yes, sir. It is getting late.
Yes, go on. You'll want the whole day off tomorrow, I suppose.
If it's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair.
It's only once a year, sir.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th day of December. I suppose you must have the whole day, but be here earlier the next day. Understand?
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas.
Christmas. Humbug.
A few minutes later, Scrooge leaves his office and makes his way to his melancholy chambers, a gloomy suite of rooms. By the light of a single flickering candle, he eats a cold supper, and then, to save lighting a stove, Ebenezer Scrooge retires for the night. The minutes tick away. Scrooge sleeps uneasily, tossing from side to side, and then awakens with a start to a loud clanking sound. Walking toward him, dragging a heavy chain, is a gray, dim figure, which stops at the foot of the bed.
Who are you? What do you want? Who are you? Answer me.
Ask me who I was.
You are? You are? You can't be.
Yes, in life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
But it cannot be so. You're dead.
You don't believe in me?
No. You're nothing but an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese.
You are wrong, Ebenezer. I am the ghost of Jacob Marley.
Why do you come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death.
No, I don't believe it.
It is then doomed to wander through the world.
You are chained, Jacob. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it length by length, yard by yard. I wore it out of my own free will. Is its pattern strange to you?
I don't understand.
The chain I wear is as heavy as the one you are now forging.
You talk strangely, Jacob.
For 7 years I have been dead, traveling the whole time.
7 years dead and traveling all the time? You must have covered a lot of territory.
No rest, no peace, only remorse.
But you were always a good man of business.
Business, mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business. But I heeded none of these. Instead, I thought only of money.
And what's wrong with making money?
That is your weakness, Ebenezer, as it was mine. That is why I am here tonight. Part of the reason for my penance. I am here to warn you, to help you escape my fate. You have one chance left.
Tell me how this chance will come.
My time draws near. I must go. Tonight, you will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the chance you mentioned, Jacob? I think I'd rather not.
The first will appear when the bell strikes once. Expect the second at the stroke of 2, and the third as the bell tolls 3.
Couldn't they all come at once and have it all over with?
No, and heed them well when they appear. Remember, it is your last chance to escape my miserable fate.
As Scrooge stares in a frightened silence, the wraith-like figure of his deceased partner, Marley, recedes into space. Then, exhausted by the ordeal, Scrooge drops off to sleep. In the distance, the steeple clock is heard striking 1. The curtains of Scrooge's bed are drawn aside, as if by invisible hand. Suddenly, there stands by the bed a strange figure with white hair, holding a sprig of fresh green holly. Scrooge stares and then speaks.
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold me by Jacob Marley?
I am.
Who? And what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past. Your past. Rise and walk with me.
Where?
Out through the window.
What? But we are 3 stories above the ground, and I am only mortal.
Bear but a touch of my hand upon your heart, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
What are we to do?
I'm going to help redeem you. Come, walk with me out into the night, into the past.
The wind howls as the ghost and Scrooge walk off into the night. Scrooge is trembling with fright.
Tell me, ghost of Christmas past, where are we?
Look down, Ebenezer, and think back to your youth.
Why, of course, the river, the meadows. And there's the old school where I went as a lad. But there's no one about.
It's the Christmas holiday. Look into this study hall.
Empty, except for a young boy sitting at a desk, his head in his hands, left behind. He's crying, poor chap. No place to go for Christmas. Now he's looking up.
Do you recognize him?
It's me.
Come, let us look back at another Christmas, a year later.
The wind howls again as they move ahead in time to take a closer look at the young Ebenezer Scrooge.
Why, there's the school again. And there's the boy pacing up and down in the schoolyard. I wonder...
Do you recognize him?
Yes, I see. I see it's myself as a boy. A coach is coming up the roadway. Now it's stopped, and a little boy gets out. Look, he's hugging me. It's my brother Peter.
Listen to what he says.
I've come to bring you home, dear brother Ebenezer. Father's not mean anymore, and he says you're never coming back here, and from now on we'll always be together. Just think we're together for the first time in 4 years.
Your brother was such a frail creature, kind, soft-hearted.
So he was. He died so young.
And left a son.
Yes, Fred, my nephew.
He came to wish you a Merry Christmas yesterday.
Yes, he did. Please, take me back.
Not yet. There is one more spirit for you to see.
No more, please. I don't wish to see it.
You must. Several years have passed. In the house below there sits a young, beautiful girl.
It's Belle.
The girl you were to marry. And there you sit next to her, a young man in your prime. Only now your face begins to show the signs of avarice. There is a greedy, restless motion in your eyes. Listen to what she is saying to you.
Matters very little to you, Ebenezer. Another idol has displaced me, a golden one. You hold money more important than me, or anything else for that matter, and I'm going to grant you your wish, free you from marrying me. That is what you desire, Ebenezer, and I feel sorry for you.
Spirit, show me no more.
Today, Belle is a happy woman, surrounded by fine children. Those children might have been yours if you hadn't been so selfish.
Take me back, I beg of you.
Scrooge had seen enough of the past and is pleased to be returned to the present or heard. The steeple clock strikes twice. And Scrooge finds himself back in his bedroom. Slowly his door, though bolted, swings open.
Good morning, Ebenezer. I'm the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon
You're
me.
practically a giant. Yet you have a young face.
Have you never seen the like of me before?
Never.
I had many brothers, over 1,800 of them, one for each Christmas since the very first.
A tremendous family to provide for.
Touch my robe, Ebenezer, and come forth with me. I trust you will profit by your journey. We have very little time, and there is a place we must visit. It is a very poor house in the very poor section of London. The one directly below us.
Indeed it is. Who, may I ask, lives here?
An underpaid clerk named Bob Cratchit.
The Bob Cratchit that works for me?
The very same.
That woman? Those children?
His wife and family.
That's Cratchit coming up the stairs now. He's carrying a young boy.
His youngest child, Tiny Tim.
The child carries a crutch.
Because he is crippled.
But the doctors.
Cratchit cannot afford a doctor, not on 15 shillings a week.
But
shh. Listen.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And a most Merry Christmas.
Father, Tiny Tim.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
And how did Tiny Tim behave at the church?
As good as gold and better.
I'm glad I was able to go to church. That's because I wanted people to see I was a cripple.
Now that's a peculiar thing to say, Tiny Tim.
No, it isn't. That's because I was in God's house, and it was God who made the blind able to see and the lame to walk. And when the people at church saw me and my crutch, I was hoping that they would think of what God can do, and they would say a prayer for me.
I'm certain they prayed for you.
And one of these days, I'm going to get well, and that'll mean I can throw away this crutch and run and play like the other boys.
You will, Tim, one of these days. And now, Mother, the big question, when will dinner be ready?
Well, it's ready now. Just about the finest goose you have ever seen. Now, Martha, you carry it in. Tom, you fetch the potatoes and turnips. Dick, set the chairs around the table.
And I'll sit between Mother and Father.
This is going to be about the best Christmas dinner anyone could hope for. I'm the luckiest man in the world having such a fine family.
It isn't a very big goose, is it? I could eat the whole bird myself, I believe.
It's all Bob Cratchit can afford. His family doesn't complain. To them, that meager goose is a sumptuous banquet. But more important, much more important, Ebenezer.
Yes?
They are a happy and united group. Look at their shining faces. Listen to them.
What a superb dinner we've had. The tempting meat, the delicious dressing.
And the plum pudding, Father. Don't forget that.
That pudding was the greatest success achieved by Mrs. Cratchit since her marriage.
Well, thank you for the compliment. I must confess, it was good.
And now for the crowning touch. The punch.
Oh,
Yeah,
punch. Wonderful.
Here we are. Get your glasses.
So the members of the Cratchit family clink glasses and a Christmas toast.
First to the founder of this feast, the man who made it possible. I give you Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I'd hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
My dear, the children, remember, this is Christmas Day.
He is a hard, stingy, unfeeling man. You know he is, Robert. You know better than anyone.
My dear, remember, Christmas Day.